Hi, this is Dawn with the Career Confessions. Today we're here with Forrest, concrete pump operator from Local 302. Good morning. How are you?
Good. Tired, just woke up.
Yeah, it's
I
early
set an
there.
alarm. Yeah, it's 7 AM here, so made sure
Yeah,
I took a
so
shower and stuff.
all right, so to get started, I guess we could just go right into it. We're here to talk about what you do for a living and how you became involved in concrete pump operator.
Pump operating, actually, it was something, started years and years and years ago. I've been doing it for 10 years, pumping concrete, learning the trade, dedicating way more of my life to it than I want to. I used to be a union carpenter back in the early 2000s. I was down in a hole that was 3 stories down. It was raining. It was Pacific Northwest. I don't know if you know anything about Pacific Northwest, but it rains a crap ton here. It was 3 stories down, and it was raining so hard that my boots, my 16-inch boots, were just this much out of the puddle that I was in the mud. I looked up, and I saw a dude standing up there with the bosses, and he was running the machine. I was like, "I'm not gonna do that. I don't wanna do this anymore. I wanna be at least out of the mud." It was a weird turn of events. Crash of '08 happened, really didn't get to work. I was off for 2 years as a union carpenter. When it finally started to pick back up, I just wasn't in the shape I used to be in to do the job. I had a couple of jobs in between. So I basically circled back to the union or sorry, to the construction world. It took like 5 or 6 years, and, I mean, I was a garbage guy for a while. That's how I got my CD. I did plumbing for a while, which was like plumbing sales. I didn't actually put anything in. And then one day somebody called me out of the blue and was like, "Hey, we know you're used to be in the industry. Did you want to come and try and do this other job that put me into cranes?" Which cranes are a precursor or the same thing as pump trucks. We just have pipe on the crane and it puts concrete on the other side. That got me back in the industry. I want to say like 14 or 15, now maybe 13. Went from there, did a really good job there. They promoted me. They put me to head of a yard, and they moved me to the northern part of Washington State, where I'm at now. I was like, I'm tired of doing this. I'm gonna go do the pump job because I know people in the industry. So I jumped over to pumping, and I've been here for about 10 years.
Oh, that's good. Do you like it? You enjoy it much better?
I love doing the job for 8 hours. The problem with pump concrete is it's not one of those jobs where you get to go to work at 7, get off at 4 or whatever it is that normal people do. The job goes until it's done. It could be a whole damn day, like 24 hours. Guys I know have worked 36 hours straight. So you don't get to quit. You just keep going. That's the problem with pumping concrete.
You don't have that set schedule.
No, there's no set schedule, but the problem is like when it's lean, it's really lean. Sometimes you don't work for a couple days, but when it's good, you're getting overtime for 24 hours sometimes, so you're making fairly good money.
Yeah, that's good. So there's not really a shortage in that field where you are.
It's all about like, the economy. The economy's starting to slow down now, and everything in construction's in stages, right? You've got the planning, you've got the dirt, then you're coming out of the dirt, and then you get to the structural and then the finish where so if you slow down at one area, everything else naturally slows down. When it comes to that, we're having a slowdown right now, and I'm on the lower side of that because once you come out of the dirt, you go to concrete. It'll slow down throughout the whole industry here coming up, but it's not bad. The company I work for, I changed to the union about a year ago, Ralph's Concrete Pumping, but
Little fun.
yeah, low plug. They're one of the biggest concrete pumping. They are the biggest concrete pumping outfit in Washington State. So they've been staying busy. I've been staying busy. My boss likes me.
Yeah, that's good.
I travel a lot. Go ahead. Sorry.
Or work, you travel.
Yeah, I went across the country recently. I went from Seattle, Washington, and drove all the way to Miami, Florida, which are the two farthest points from each other in the United States. So that was a fun trip. I work
You like
around the whole
driving.
entire state too.
Well, that's pretty cool. So you get to travel and work.
Friday, if you look at Washington State, there's the peninsula over there. You can see it's got a weird peninsula. It's like a quarter of the state. Highway 101 runs from Washington all the way down to Mexico. the place I was pumping in on Friday says milepost marker 1 for Highway 101. So it's the beginning of the whole world.
So, do they have apprentice programs and stuff there with the company that you work for? More.
It's kinda odd, the pump the concrete pumping contract's kind of the bastard of the 302. They don't really have a set apprenticeship. They bring guys on and they basically work them to the point of them wanting to quit. They give them a line pump instead of having a boom, and they give them half wage for like 14 weeks or something like that, but they move up fairly quickly. With the 302 union, I think you have to have 6,000 hours, which comes out to like 4 years or something before you can move up. The pump operators kind of backdoor that. They make it so you can get in, become a journeyman very easily. Then you're in the 302. So you could actually quit being an op or a pump operator and go run a loader or any of that stuff, but you don't have the experience. So it's really, I mean, it's kind of a cheat, but if you don't know how, you can't do it. You're gonna get
Yeah, yeah.
fired or laid off.
So you learn more and more as you go.
No, you don't really get to because I'm a niche. Like I just run big pumps. If you've seen what I do,
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest one we run is a 63 meter, which is like 205 feet. It's reach, and but that's the pinnacle of a pump operator, basically for equipment. We don't actually run forklifts. We don't run loaders. I mean, we show up to a job and we have a very specific set of skills. And I mean, obviously, it's needed because you can't really do much without it when you're doing those jobs. But you can't ask me to jump into a loader and be like, "Let's get it done." No. I just kinda look at it and be like, "I can figure it out, but I'm not proficient."
Were you nervous at first when you first started?
Oh my god.
I
Oh my
feel like
god.
that would be scary.
Yeah, so, it was a 2 parts training. I did mention that I was a garbage guy for a while, and that's how I got my CDL. So, when you
Mhm.
first jump into a truck that weighs 90,000 pounds and the guy's like, "Drive it," you're like, "No." It's one of the things that it gave me a little anxiety because you're trying to do it good and you don't wanna crash, you gotta figure out how to brake, you got all that kinda stuff, and that was its own challenge. But when you're running the pump, I already had crane experience, so it wasn't really scary. Getting used to it was the crane experience really helped because I can see if I didn't have it, I'd have ran that thing into the ground, and I mean, the trucks themselves, even the small ones are a quarter of a million or $750,000 or more,
Yeah, so
so,
you don't
yeah.
wanna mess with.
Um Yeah, they give you a lot of responsibility. It's a For the first 2 years, you're pretty stressed out because concrete's one of those things that's, it's completely like it's a perishable product like bread, right? It has a time that it stays liquid. When it's not liquid, it's a real it's a real yeah, I'm trying not to cuss, but it's a real pain in the butt
Yeah, no, no,
to get it out
so
of
you
a
don't
pipe.
lose it, right? If it doesn't pour correctly, you can could you.
So the concrete pump, it sits like this. It's got a crane that comes up and it's got pipes, right? But inside that truck, there's a system that does all the pumping. It has cylinders, it has pipes, all that stuff. Every single part of that is very expensive. The cylinders that move back and forth and everything. If you don't get the liquid concrete out of it, right, you can't have it sit in there. It becomes a big paperweight. I mean, you can lose up to $100,000 on a bad day just having to replace everything. That's just materials. That's not the cost of replacing it, having the guys that you hired replace and put all the pipe back on it and stuff. It's basically a big chemistry setup when you're playing with concrete. Guys like to put additives in it to make it burn a little faster, go a little slower, be a little slicker. They do a lot of stuff to it. And as a pump operator, you got to know what all those chemicals do so you can your number one job is to protect the machine that puts the concrete where it's at, if that makes any sense.
No, no, it does. You know, I worked for, I worked for a construction company, so right my last couple of years, they had purchased, like it was a smaller one.
All this They do all the same thing. There is no difference except for the reach. They all do the same thing.
So you're in the truck by yourself.
Yeah, that's the other big side of what I do is I don't have a boss. I have a boss, but he's not there. He's this. I make a phone call. What do you want me to do? I show up to a job and I'm 100% self-contained when it comes to this stuff. I tell the contractor, the guy that hired me, what I want so I can get the job done. I ask him to move stuff. He has a general idea of what he wants, and then I build off of that to make it number 1 safe, then number 2 getting the job done fast and efficiently. So, I really don't, as a operator, care about the contractor. I try to do it as fast as I can so I can leave.
You're like, "Just get it out of the truck and get out of here."
That's right. I show up and I'm like, "All right, I need this, 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 and this, and I need you to get out of my way so I can do my job."
That's pretty cool.
I
Is
try.
this some would you, like, suggest for a new generation or just people looking for a career change to going to something like this? Or
You have to be a smarter person. You have to be able to think your way out of a paper bag. I wouldn't recommend it for just anybody. Anybody can do it. You can be trained to do it. I am somebody that's trying to look for more time in my life. The hours are ridiculously long. So if all you want to do is out there and crank and pound pavement and get some money, it's a great job. I know guys that they don't even try to go home. They'll sleep at the yard when it's really busy and they'll just keep going. Those guys are making $250,000. I'm just like, I don't I me personally, I wanna work less and still make a good wage, but if you really wanna make a ton of money, you can make a ton of money, especially if you own your own pump. But that comes with all the risk and maintenance and repair.
oh, okay, so you could buy your own pump and, like, contract these jobs out.
Yeah, so no, you can do partnerships, like, you can talk to the business owners that have too many jobs, because that happens when you get too big, you get too many jobs, and you can be available to run that kinda stuff. This is good times. This is like what it was like 3 or 4 years ago where you're working right now, you couldn't do that. You wouldn't be able to get a pump and have somebody help support you with their jobs. You'd have to go pound payment and find your own jobs. But I know guys out there that, a couple years ago were making 5, 6, 7, even 15 grand a week just doing the jobs. As an operator, you can expect to make, 60 bucks an hour and have a pretty good wage plus full benefits in the union, so
Yeah, and
and
then
retirement.
all the overtime too.
Oh my gosh, the overtime's nuts. There's a joke that goes around with the operators that says, "I've got 20 years experience," when you're 30 and you're like, how did you do that?" The overtime, man. I've been doing it, way more than you. I mean, 16-hour days is used to be a every day.
Yeah, that's
So
insane. That's a lot
I'd
of
get
work.
up, go to work, get up, go to work, get up, go to work, there was no time for me, no time for, a life. There's no with concrete pumping, there is no planning. You have something you have to do, either take the day off or do it in the morning because once you're at work, they basically have you. Like I said, the job goes until it's done.
Now do you work all like, including weekends, or do you just work Monday through
No,
Friday?
when you are a first time starter out guy, they really screw you with the working weekends. When you get to a point where I'm at, they stop asking because you start I don't know. I just don't go. You wanna see me Monday, I'm not working Saturday. Because some of those days, I mean, I showed up to a Saturday job with my old company. They would strong arm bully you, like, "Well, you won't have a job if you don't go do this." I'd already worked 45 hours to 70 hours that week. I don't wanna go. So, that was one of the bigger reasons for my change to the company I'm at, Ralph's now.
That's good. I hear some people say if they offer you overtime and you don't take it, they just won't offer it to you again. So you take it because you wanna be offered it, but you don't always wanna work overtime.
I work for a really awesome person. His name's Josh Gribble. You tell him you need a break, and he'll give you a break because concrete operators are different than any other industry because if you ask anybody in the industry, they all know that we work an insane amount. With any other trade like carpenters, laborers, all those guys, they get offered overtime, and if you don't take it, they won't offer it again. But if you don't take it as an operator, as a concrete pump operator, they're gonna bug you tomorrow. When it comes down to it, you're a valuable commodity because there's not a lot per capita, like, of guys that are concrete pump operators. I feel like you can turn it down. I don't know if you can turn it down when you're a concrete pump operator because they, I they'll force you. They're just like, "You're gonna do this." So, it's not the
Good. So
same as the 9 to 5 guys.
I mean, I see a lot of, like, blue collar it doesn't really always seem 9 to 5, like, and people seem like they have that 9 to 5, but then a lot of people seem to be working Saturdays or just long days. They travel a lot. It seems like it gets old quick. They're traveling a lot, especially if they have families. They don't wanna always be traveling.
For the traveling for me is something I welcome. I like it. I don't have any kids. I've got a couple of dogs. That's pretty much it. But like like I said, this last Friday, I was in Nia Bay, which is just this little tribal town. We're doing a school out there. I'm the only operator that's going out there. Monday, I got to be in Ellensburg, which is on the east side of the state. So I travel all over the state all the time. I'm set up for it.
Yeah.
The the hours though, they get to people. Most job sites run from like 6 or 7 in the morning to like 3 or 4. I've been on job sites where you see the whole job site start up. I get there in the morning and you see everybody out there doing their stretches or whatever. Then that same day, I watch them all go home while I'm still pouring the concrete, right? I got the concrete crew there. But you see all the electricians and the dirt workers and everybody just leave, and it's like it went right back to ghost town, and we're there for another 3 or 4 hours. So, it's a different thing pumping concrete or even finishing concrete. You're stuck because if it you can't just leave it and say, "See you tomorrow." Concrete, like I said, has a shelf life, and it has a certain amount of time it stays liquid to make it a flat floor, colored, stamped, exposed, brushed, finish. All the finishes take time, and when the concrete sets up and snaps, it's there. So I've seen people lose slabs where they're out there pouring it. They did their chemistry wrong. They put in too much what we in the industry call heat, which is calcium, which has a chemical reaction with the lye and stuff in the concrete. Um, but it heats it up because once you get to I think it's 86 degrees of concrete, that's hot and it will snap. I've seen guys working it and it just stops. It just turns right into a rock. You can't do anything about it and they have to tear it out. Tear outs are very expensive.
Yeah, I would think so. Have you ever lost any concrete?
I've had it close for an operator to lose mud, like I said, the pump itself has the pipes on it. If it snaps in the pipes, that's it. Either the pipes come off or by some miracle they get it to loosen up and come out. I've never had it happen for me. I've gotten close. One time doing a job, I had to do a job in the morning and then I had a late morning job. My jobs take anywhere from all day to just a I've had jobs to be 5 minutes. It takes you longer to set up and take down than it does to do the job. But this job I showed up too late. They had put 1% calcium in it. If you're in the industry, you know what that means. That's fairly good mud, but the mud had been sitting for about 2 hours that nobody told me about. You only get about 3 hours on mud before it turns into a rock. I started pumping this job and then I had to move, and that's where you take the machine down, you move it to another area of the job site, and you set it back up, and you work over there. And when I moved, I started to pump, and the guys were going slow, so you gotta wait for them. I'm very service oriented, so I can't just put it all out there. They have to like work certain areas and I have to stop. I'm the on and off guy. But I got a guy screaming and freaking out, mixer driver. Those are the guys that bring the concrete to you. I ran back over there and he's like, "Hey man, this stuff's stopping." I looked in my auger or my popper, it's where they put the concrete into the truck. The augers had stopped moving, and those things are so powerful. If you get your leg stuck in there, they'll snap it. Right? They're hydraulically driven, so that wasn't a good sign. I got in there, turned off the augers, dug out as much mud as I could, threw it right on the street with a shovel. Then I proceeded to water wash my truck. And the guy, he's like, "Oh, you can't do that. I need that concrete." I looked at him and said, "Hey, I'm more responsible for the truck than your concrete." When it came out, it stacked to about, I want to say about 12 inches. It was about 4 feet high, 12 inches around. So it just came out and stopped and it blew out on the ground. That was the closest time that I ever almost lost something. They ended up using all the mud and finishing the job and they got it to work. It was close for me. It was really, really hot.
It's good that they were able to use it, and
Yeah, it's really good because it would have come out, but that's that dinger stuff. That's that DNR Horton housing stuff that you guys see, the track homes. That stuff's a dime a dozen.
so when you're on a job, do you have a lot of downtime, or do you
Hi.
go in and then might pour and then have downtime and then you're back busy?
The reason I have so many TikToks and all the stuff that I have, the way you found me, is because I have so much downtime. I show up, 30 minutes to set the truck up, then it's wait for the mud to get there if it's late, which it is a lot, and then I run through 2 or 3 trucks, and that takes about 15 minutes a truck. So you're at 45 minutes for 3 trucks. Then you gotta call in because nobody does the math on these job sites. If you need 45 yards, they'll call in a 40-yard load, and they get the 4 trucks. Hopefully, they make it, but then they do the math at the end of the pour. I have to wait for the next truck to go from the plant, get mixed, put all together, and then drive to me. So I have so much downtime. I jokingly say that my job's just to wait on mud. I do it all the time. I just wait for mixer companies to show up. I've been there for 4 hours. I've been there where they forgot about you. They're like, "Oh, yeah, we forgot about this job." I'm like, "How do you forget?" So,
Is this when you started doing the content on social media? I mean, it's good content and people love it.
I started doing it about 4 months ago because I was like, "Hey, you know what? People are making money on this." I took it as a
Mhm.
challenge just to try and make money doing it. Then it turned out to be something that I was pretty good at, I think. I have a lot of people saying that I have a lot of raw energy. I'm trying to, like, mold what I say or do on there. I've tried to move over to different platforms. I've got a new Facebook that I just put up a couple of days ago instead of the personal one I've been using since like 2000. I got a LinkedIn now. That's new too. I'm trying to link everything together. I'm just basically learning social media and trying to move from the TikTok platform over into more of an industry driven part of it, the workers' rights. Nobody needs to work a 55-hour work week. Trying to keep it so people can have a better family life. Then just the safety and the brotherhood camaraderie of the union is something that I'm really into. And the funny part, because I do that pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, you some of your, you are raw, and I was like, "Wait, I'm a little nervous doing this podcast this morning because this guy's a little wild."
Oh, I'm trying. There's a person named Brenna Moore that has been coaching me on doing stuff. I have other people that have just been like, "Hey, tone it down." But it's funny because the more I tone it down, the less people watch, right? I think my TikTok's going to be for my wild. If you've seen my videos, LinkedIn is going to be definitely more professional, and I would like to build that account.
Well, I think people like real though, and you're real, and people really like that on every platform. I notice on LinkedIn a lot, I see a lot of people saying what it's really like out there, not just blue collar, in the job market and everything. They're saying it like it really is. People love it. That's my take on it anyway.
I see and hear the kind of things you're talking about there. I need to polish me. I know that I've had TikTok yell at me a bunch of times because of the things I say, the words I use. But that's how it is out there, right? It's not different. What you see on TikTok, me talking to guys, it's just the same. There's no censorish, there's no app telling you you can't use certain words. There's nobody's the other guy's feelings don't matter out there. Everybody's like, "Oh, you don't ever hear somebody say, 'Oh, you hurt my feelings.'" If he did, he's getting made fun of for a month. Like it's not one of those things that there's no censorship when you're out there with the guys because the guys they'll tear you apart if you show any weakness. So,
Learned that working at a construction company. At first, they were, like, on these little filters, like I'm like, "No, just be you. I don't
right,
care."
I know that that's a big thing with women in the industry where, you see you us as guys, we show up to somebody that we just met, unless he looks like he's the boss, it's, "Hey, what's up, fucker?" Like, you don't walk up to a girl and be like, "Hey, what's up, fucker?" to a girl. You're like, "Hi, ma'am. How are you?" Doesn't matter if she's got a hard hat on or not. That's our moms and us trying to keep us, out of jail. Unless you've got a clean hard hat and clean boots, those are the 2 keys on a job site. If you see clean hard hat, clean boots, and he has like a clipboard or something, or he looks like he's got a purpose and he's walking around, that's a boss. But on the other side, if you see clean hard hat and clean boots and he looks like he's freaking lost, that's a new guy. That's somebody to pick on. So you got to be really, really careful who you pick on. But I mean, yeah,
You gotta make sure you
that's
pick
an
up
apprentice. Yeah, you can find apprentices are easy to spot. They just kinda stare at the sky, wandering around. They got a broom most of the time, they're looking for a shovel. Like, it's yeah, the boss, he looks like he might stab you. He's just like, stay away from him. He's stressed out, too much caffeine. Anyways, so that's how you figure out a job site. And then when it comes to the female in the industry, you don't see a lot of them either. So guys, like, when you're not at work, it's like, oh, that's a girl, you could talk to it. But at work, there's so many things that you can have that are sexual lawsuits and all that kind of stuff. And if I talk to girls same way I talk to the guys, I'd be fired and in jail.
So you don't see a lot of girls on the job sites that you're.
No, no, I mean, I know they exist, but I think since the last year being in the union, seeing them, I think I've probably seen like a year. So, I mean, that's probably 300 job sites. I've only seen like maybe 12, maybe
Yeah.
12.
Now do you have a lot of girls that follow you on your TikToks and stuff? Because I feel like there's a lot of girls in the industry that I'm seeing.
My following is not because of what I do. I have a heavy female. It's pretty close to being even if you look at my male to female followers on my TikTok, but it's like 57% female versus like 43 male. But that's not because I'm in the industry. I have girls that are on there that are pump operators. They're cool people. They're great people to talk to. There's one out of Texas. I can't remember where the other one's out of. Most of the reasons girls follow me on there is because I got a pretty good smile. That's what I hear a lot about.
Okay.
But it's not because of my work. It's more about my personality and being funny than it is. Uh, this is what I do. This is the industry I'm in.
Yeah, so they don't really reach out to you for job
No,
advice.
no, I do get some of that. It happens once in a while. I get people asking me, "Hey, how do I get in the industry?" I was like, "Smoke menthols, dude. Drink beer. You'll find it. It's not that hard." Some guys are in earnest, want to do it, but I don't get a ton of feedback on what I do on there. It's more about me being funny. But it has happened. I've had guys that are trying to figure out how to get jobs. I'm like, dude, Union Hall, pound pavement, show up. That's all you really have to do in the construction industry. Get smarter afterwards.
I just started this podcast in July, but mostly, everyone I've talked to is in the union. They are happy that they switched over to union.
I like being in the union. You get a better caliber of job site with the union. I gotta be there all day. I don't really wanna I did one of the videos I did got a 500,000 views, and I think I called it diversified job site, and it was one of the worst job sites I had been on because I mean, all job sites happen, right? You could have the Turners, you can have all the really high-end job sites with the sky cranes, all the safety stuff and all the proper PPE, which makes a quality job site. Or you can have the one that was, I'm gonna sound racist, this exact job site I was on was ran by an Indian guy, East Indian guy. And he was out there screaming at everybody. He had the minimal labor force, the cheapest guys. There was no safety. There was nothing. It was just, it was somebody using the money that they can make to make money, which is what America's about. But as a guy that has to be on the job site, I really like it when it's like a higher end quality job site, the downtowns and all that kind of stuff. So the union provides the high quality.
And the safety and everything.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's the union is definitely one of the better ways to go when it comes to work for just the quality of work. And then the money, the benefits and all that kind of stuff. But that's where the future is. It's not the only person that has the future in building homes is the guy building the homes, not the workers. So
But yeah, because a lot of contractors are, like, union, non-union, that have, like, both sides of their company, like a GC will have, like, both
right, yeah,
sides.
those aren't bad because you can have a GC that does both of them and makes money on both sides, but he uses his guys here or he uses his guys there. But a GC that has that many, like, qualification, he's put that together that well, if you have a good quality worker, he's usually gonna make that guy a priority and give him a, good wage and make sure he comes around. But that just goes to the people that you work with, basically, when you're working non-union like that.
I don't really have any more questions. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I don't have a lot more. I was just trying to go with the flow. I didn't even know what to do here. I was asking my friends, I'm like, how do I present this?" And my, Brenna was like, "Be professional." I was like, "Good point, good point. Let's keep it, let's keep it above the waistline."
So what I'm trying to do is career fairs, programs in the school where they say, "I wanna be an electrician," go through a schooling. They have on-site
Trade
training
schooling. Yeah,
and reaching out to people and having them talk about what they do for a living. It's, like, interesting for people to hear because a lot of times you don't know and you, like, might trying to pick, "This is what I wanna do in life." So I wanna, like, eventually, like, help small business owners too, like, that might need a little, like, uplift.
I'll tell you this, there's no small anythings, okay? Um, yeah, don't ever say that again, because everything you do doesn't matter if you make, a, if you make this or this, it's all exactly the same. We put a, monetary value on everything. A dollar is only a dollar because we say so, and $1,000,000 is only $1,000,000 because we say so. So anything you do to step through your stuff, don't ever, ever degrade it like that. Whatever you're doing is awesome. So I'm thankful that you're doing that for people because you know what? If you just help one person get to the place they want to be, you've done it. You've done everything you've accomplished. Then you get to do it again, right? So yeah, that was for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All
I will
right.
take that whenever you're
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah, if you ever want
And
me to
then are
come
you
back or huh? Go ahead.
yeah, for sure. Are you on YouTube?
I have a YouTube and I think I do. I can look. Second here. YouTube. I
No, have
am
you,
on
like,
YouTube.
posted your stuff on, like, YouTube Shorts and stuff?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta look. I can't remember what it is. So that's at Blue Collar Forest. That one is. I'm looking at it right now. So I have yep. I've got about 76 videos on there. I've been transitioning from my dog videos to my blue collar videos. I do have one at Blue Collar Forest with 2 R's. There you go, plug
Yeah.
myself.
People still like the dog.
My
Maybe put the
dogs?
dogs in a hot hat sometime.
Oh, yeah. Here, you guys wanna see? They're right here, right under come here, come here. I've got 2 of these little guys. We have 2 of these. Alright, that's enough. I don't like you no more. But yeah, red heelers. I have yeah, I'm a big dog person, so alright, well, thank you, I guess, unless you have
Thank
anything else
you.
for me.
Ye
Drive to you. It was really good to talk to
Thank
you,
you.
by the way. I
Yeah, you
enjoyed it.
too, thank you.
Alright, I
Right.
think I'm done. How
Alright.
do I get out of here?
Have a
Leave?
nice
Yeah, you too. Have a great
Bye.
day. Bye.